going, everyone? I'm David Toledo with the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police, and I want to welcome you right back to our channel. Hope everybody's doing well, everybody's staying safe out there. I have a special guest with us today. Some of you may recognize him, some of you may have heard of his name, but after today, I guarantee you'll remember him. Chief Stephen Helmich from Chapin Police Department and South Jacksonville PD, correct?
Yes.
All right. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Just fine, thanks. Just getting a little better every day.
Yeah, it was quite the event. So, it's good seeing you. Can you tell all the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So, my name is Steve Helmich. As he said, I'm the police chief in Chapin, for the village of Chapin, and then I also work part-time as a police officer, just a patrolman for village of South Jacksonville. So both of those are small municipalities in west central Illinois in Morgan County. I have been full-time active duty with the Illinois National Guard for almost 20 years now, and I'll actually retire in a few months as from the Inspector General office there in the Illinois National Guard. So I've been doing that for about 20 years, working full-time there. And as I transition out of the military, I'm planning to have a more of a focus on the law enforcement career. So,
Was law enforcement always a goal for you?
it was. As a teenager, I wanted to be a cop or whatever. But
right.
You can't get into law enforcement until you're at least 21, and so I went the military route first. Joined that, the Army, National Guard. Came back from your initial entry training, and after I did that, I got on full time with the Illinois National Guard almost immediately, and so I've been doing that ever since. So I'm 39 now, and like I said, I'll retire a little bit later this year. And but as I was starting to plan for retirement from the military, that's when I started thinking, okay, I needed to have a second career. I need to have a plan,
Right.
and that's when I decided to pursue kind of what I wanted to do all along, which was, and so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be able to be in law enforcement. Yeah.
I want to thank you for your service. I'm sure all of us watching here are thanking you for your service as well to this nation. When did you join the Fraternal Order of Police?
I joined the FOP just about a year ago, maybe just over a year, and it was when it was opened up to the part-time members of the South Jacksonville Police Department. We all decided to go ahead and join and support the local lodge. I had actually inquired about joining before that. Obviously, as a part-time employee, you don't get the union protection that full-time employees enjoy, but there are a lot of other benefits, and that's one of the reasons I joined.
Right, and I think a lot of people out there, especially watching and even in the general public, there's still that confusion between labor council and the fraternal organization. So to clarify, like you said, part-time, they can't be part of the union. It's just not allowed. But you can be part of the Fraternal Order of Police, which is the main group here. Was there anything that drew you to the FOP?
Well, like everyone all of the full-time sworn officers and deputies in the county I live and work in are FOP members. So when the FOP decided to open up the opportunity for part-time people to join, that's when it became obvious to me, like, yeah, we need to support the the local lodge,
Right.
And there were some other factors. I would have done it anyway, but there's the legal defense is a big one,
Right.
and I think probably later in our conversation we'll talk about how that has impacted me.
Right.
But you know, they have a variety of benefits that just
Oh yeah. I mean,
made sense to me.
we have that disaster relief unit that goes out not just for natural disasters, but for any kind of event, major event that goes out, providing meals, providing um, just extra benefits to people so that they can take a break and they can assist Red Cross, all of that stuff. So that's one of the big benefits out there. I know insurance programs is another one. And then for me, particularly, what drew me to it was the fact that no matter where I go, no matter what happens, someone's going to be there to help me along the way. And that's the big thing, because so much in law enforcement we're taught once you're completing your trip, you're on your own. Here's your car, here you are, here's your section to patrol, go out. And you're there. And yeah, your backup is there. You may have a shift partner or several shift partners if you're lucky, if you have a department that big. But the truth of the matter is, you're there by yourself handling a call until your backup gets there. So you're very much used to being by yourself. And then when something does go catastrophically wrong, having that knowledge that in reality you're not by yourself, that you actually have a good group of people that's going to come in there, not just help you, but then help your family. That's why I joined. So, and I know a lot of other people have similar experiences to talk about. Um, you mentioned, in your situation, and it was in the news, and it was all throughout the law enforcement communities, everything that happened. I know you can't talk a whole lot about it, but can you kind of give the viewers that we have here kind of a brief synopsis of what happened to you on that evening?
Sure. So on March 26, 2022, I was on duty in Chapin as the police chief working there. I was actually in the office. I had really just went out there that evening to work for a few hours, mostly focused on paperwork and administrative things I was trying to get caught up on. And while I was working, there was a town to the west of Chapin, Meridosha, Illinois, and a part-time officer for Meridosha was conducting a traffic stop on a vehicle that he pulled over for speeding. Appeared to be just a standard, traffic stop at the beginning. And then over the radio, he had called out that he had observed a firearm that he believed was loaded. And later I found out that the reason he said he thought it was loaded is because he could see a magazine, in the magazine well.
Okay.
So you assume it's got rounds in it.
Right.
So he saw that handgun, presumed it was loaded. The person that was driving, it was a single occupant pickup truck, and he told the individual to shut the truck off and exit the vehicle. The person pretended to reach for the steering column to shut off the truck and instead shifted into gear and hammered the accelerator and just peeled out.
Right.
So he called that out over the radio, and even though I was about 12 miles away from him, I was the nearest vehicle. And I think, as a side note, it's important to remember that although Illinois is a pretty populous state when compared to other states, there are vast majorities of our state, where your nearest backup is not very close to you.
No, actually, Illinois is very rural, with the exception of, we got Quad Cities, you got Peoria, you have Chicago, obviously. But even in those cases, they're outlying communities. And even in Peoria County, you're spread out.
Yeah.
Your nearest backup could be anywhere from In my case, my nearest backup is almost 45 minutes away
Right.
in a lot of cases. So,
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of the way I am in that. But if the roles were reversed, that Officer Lowry, would have come from Meridosha to help me. So of course
right.
I went to help him. I confirmed over the radio that he was requesting assistance, and then I made my way over to his town, and in that amount of time, the individual that he was in pursuit of left Meridosha, went to another town in Pike County, and then actually returned back to Meridosha as I was coming in. So it kind of worked out where I, was entering Meridosha from one way, they were coming back in the other way, and then that's kind of where I joined the pursuit. And through a series of events of the driver trying to evade the arresting, the original officer,
Mm-hmm.
I ended up being the lead car as we left Meridosha again, headed west into Pike County, and then I ended up remaining the lead car for the rest of the pursuit. And we went west through Pike County until we hit another state highway where we headed south in Pike County for a few miles. He turned around in a residential area in Griggsville, and then we went back north, headed towards Mount Sterling, and we drove again for quite a few miles, and then he crashed his pickup truck
Mm-hmm.
into a guardrail in Brown County, and that is when he exited his vehicle, and I exited mine. During the pursuit, we picked up a couple of other people. We picked up another Pike County Sheriff's deputy, and then we picked up a Brown County Sheriff's deputy.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 3 other people with me. I was still in the lead when the individual crashed, and then he exited his vehicle. I went to the right and went towards the front of the person's truck. Uh, Pike County deputy went to the towards the bed of the truck, so we were kind of fanning out, and there was a lot of dust and smoke from the crash, which made it very difficult to see.
Right.
And what ended up happening was that person exited the vehicle with his handgun, and without any warning, just began firing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did return fire, but my return fire did not strike the suspect. But the suspect did shoot me 2 times, once in the abdomen and then once in the upper left thigh, which fractured my femur.
Right.
And coincidentally, also the round went through my iPhone that was in my pocket as it exited, and so it also caused a 3rd-degree burn. So I ended up with
Right.
an abdominal gunshot wound,
Mm-hmm.
a leg gunshot wound, and a 3rd-degree burn out of that. The suspect was subdued by the other 3 officers that were on scene and taken into custody. And shortly after that, another Pike County Sheriff's deputy arrived who had a tourniquet readily available, placed the tourniquet on my leg, and cranked that down until the bleeding stopped. And that really did save my life, because later on in the trauma bay, I ended up having to get 3 units of blood transfused.
Mm-hmm.
So I had lost a decent amount of over a quarter of my blood. So it was a stressful time, but everybody came together. Everybody relied on the training,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really interesting how you can get agencies, multiple people from different agencies all come together, and everything really still worked like a well-oiled machine. And I really like to point out that fact that even though this was happened in a very, very rural area in Illinois, we did. I feel like just as good of a job in responding to the threat, and certainly giving me medical aid. That all happened just as well as it would have if we were in a metropolitan area, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean that's why we train for these instances, in the past the criticisms have been, where's the training, or why do you train in this way? Well, here's why. Just because it is in the big city doesn't mean we're not going to have these instances. We have these instances. We have these crimes. We have these occurrences. The only difference is we have to wait a lot longer for assistance in many cases. So in this case, everybody jumped in, worked together. You're alive and kicking, um, and I mean, nobody ever wants to be put in these situations. We don't go out looking for this stuff.
Right.
I think, we go out there to help. We want everything resolved peacefully. So, do you remember anything that happened after that?
So I remained conscious through, they put the tourniquet on my leg, which is the worst pain I've ever had in my life. It was worse than getting shot.
Yeah.
So I was airlifted from a airstrip
Mm-hmm.
just near the location of the crash to Springfield Memorial Hospital in Springfield. They're a level 1 trauma facility, and I remained conscious all the way until I was, wheeled into the trauma bay, and they put the mask on me with gas in it, and that's when I went out, and that was on a Saturday night, and I don't remember anything after that until Monday afternoon. And in the intervening time, I went through 3 surgeries. 2 on my abdomen and 1 on my leg, as well as a plastic surgery that was done in conjunction with the orthopedic
Right.
stuff. So it was pretty hard on my body. Like I said, I had those 3 units of blood transfused. I was on fentanyl at the beginning, which is crazy for all the times that we get told, to stay away from fentanyl, and then it's weird to hear that, the doctors are actually giving it to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a long road, 19 days in the hospital. But I really have to give credit to the whole medical team at Memorial and SIU School of Medicine. They really took excellent care of me, and of course, I wouldn't have even gotten that far had it not been for the the other officers on scene, the Brown County emergency or ambulance service, as well as dispatchers in Morgan and Pike County. They also played a pretty key role.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of really came together.
That's good. So you had been a member of the FOP when all this went on, and how did the Fraternal Order of Police end up kind of giving you any benefit, giving you any kind of relief in this manner?
Well, I was really surprised, for having only been a member at the time, maybe just under a year. I mean, everybody really jumped in. For starters, our local lodge as well as the state lodge each donated $500 to my family to help with expenses, which we did have, some initial expenses, hotel, fuel and stuff like that, meals. So that was a huge help. That was very generous of them. And then as the days went on, I received through the legal defense coverage. I received a criminal defense attorney who is familiar with dealing specifically with officer-involved shootings and use of force incidents. And that person assisted me in reviewing my report before I submitted it, and also met with me, discussed the case, and then represented me when I initially met with the state's attorney that is prosecuting the suspect who shot me.
Right.
As it turns out, with all the different camera angles and all the other evidence, my shooting thankfully is pretty cut and dry. But I could see a scenario where, had it been a little bit not so clear, or that maybe there hadn't been as many different videos of what happened, where I would have really needed that legal defense. And
Hmm.
I couldn't believe, I mean, the amount of money it costs just to retain an attorney like that. I mean, is well worth the
$64 a year,
I
I
think
think.
it's, yeah, 60,
Yeah.
yeah, 60, whatever it is. It's, I mean, my goodness, it's, yeah, so worth it. And I'm very grateful for it. And I suppose the other thing to really point out is that I'm grateful that the FOP has opened up that opportunity to part-time people, because it's
Absolutely.
only been in the last a little over a year
Yeah.
or so that that's even been an option.
Yeah.
And so as I, go through the rest of my law enforcement career, I have a feeling I will be in smaller areas where I will always be around people, part-time people, and I will be making sure that everybody knows, hey, you need to join this. And I think it's important for part-time officers to know that if they are in a small or rural area where FOP is not present, there is an at-large lodge or chapter that they can join in order to become a fraternal member.
Yeah.
And tap into some of these benefits as well. After that, I was also given a workman's comp attorney, which is that's a big one.
Hmm.
As well, because that's um, obviously I sustained some pretty significant and life-changing injuries.
Right.
So that was a big deal. And then a couple months after everything kind of settled down, the FOP ended up presenting me and the other 3 officers that were on scene with awards for that, as well as the officer that showed up with the tourniquet. He got a life-saving award.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really, it was just very humbling. And again, having only been a member for a year, I really didn't realize, the depth and breadth of the FOP's network. And I think another way to explain that is, there's a lot of organizations out there, whether it be a restaurant or a civic organization or whatever, that wants to donate, meals, or maybe they want to donate money, or they want to donate whatever. And but they don't, they don't know how to be connected to that with
Right.
and the FOP kind of is that middleman. So they connect people who are willing to donate or want to donate, maybe their time, maybe they want to. Maybe they've got people who want to mow your lawn for you because now you all of a sudden you can't cut your grass.
Right.
They connect you with people like that,
Hmm.
and so they really, it truly is a brotherhood and sisterhood, and I am just very grateful for it, and I will always advocate that everybody needs to be a member. And it's interesting too that you can even people in administration that are senior rank or whatever,
Hmm.
they can join.
Yeah.
As
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah. Anybody can
So,
join the FOP in law enforcement.
yeah.
The fact that you brought it up, groups that wanted to donate time, money, food. I know Mission Barbecue stepped up and helped out in donating meals as well.
Yeah, Mission Barbecue. I think they're a greater Central Illinois chain, and they definitely they donated food for a ceremony that I had, and catered a lot of food.
Yeah.
And it totally covered. They didn't charge a thing. It was very generous of them. And since then they've reached out to see if they can provide meal to me and some of my coworkers at Camp Lincoln with the Illinois National Guard. So they want to do it again, and I'm just very humbled. And by the way, they have great barbecue.
Yes,
so.
they do. If you have not eaten at Mission Barbecue, folks,
Yeah.
we're telling you, go eat.
There's one in Springfield and one in the Quad Cities. I know that.
And there's one in Peoria.
Okay.
And you are missing out. The mac and cheese is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Make sure you go hungry. If you leave hungry, you might have something wrong with you.
They have they are huge supporters of the military and
Yes.
law enforcement, so they deserve our support and our patronage.
They do, absolutely. Even if you just go in there and grab something to drink, they are fantastic. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I understand the situation, a lot of this all came together while you were in surgery and while you were kind of recovering. All of this just sort of happened.
Yeah, by the time before I was out of the hospital, I had received donations from people.
Hmm.
There was already like Mission Barbecue there and other places too offering to do things
Yeah,
for me and for my family. The uh, Springfield Police Department, some of their members actually paid for my family to have a hotel for a few nights in
that's awesome.
Springfield.
That is
That was
awesome.
very generous of them.
Hmm.
And the list just goes on. I didn't make a list of every. I mean, I've received a lot of support donations. So I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for the outpouring of support, and a lot of it is as a result of the FOP kind of getting it out there and telling everybody what had happened.
Well, and that's what we do here, and it's something that needs to be shared with community at large. Law enforcement and in general. We are here to help. We are here to support, and uh, your message is extremely powerful, and I'm grateful that you were able to sit down and talk with me about this, and glad to see you're upright and walking. That's a big thing. Is there any advice you would give to law enforcement officers, new, experienced, administrative at all?
So, I've been doing this only for 7 years, which I suppose for a brand new person, that probably sounds like a long time. And then someone who's been doing it for a long time, that sounds like being a rookie. So I'm somewhere in the middle, I think, on that. But I do think that, in addition to your basic decisions, that making sure that you uh, uh, join, join the FOP, make sure that you have insurance coverage because you never know. You always think it's going to happen to somebody else. You never think it's going to happen to you. So let me tell you, you need to make sure that you're covered. And then beyond that, trust your instincts and trust your training, and just keep don't panic. Keep the best level head that you can.
Yeah.
As I was laying in the road with gushing bright red blood from 2 holes in my leg, and trying to put pressure on that with my hands until we could get the bleeding stopped. If I had panicked or freaked out, that would have just made the situation that much worse.
Absolutely worse.
So just, don't panic. Trust your training and trust the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
My life was in the hands of people I'd never met before.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but it's what
truly,
we train for.
Yeah, and they saved my life.
Yeah.
They really did. They saved me from bleeding to death.
Yeah.
So you have to trust people. And then on the flip side of it is, if let's say you're one of those people that shows up to help, and you're not the one that's shot, but you're one that's helping. Also trust your training and be very deliberate in everything that you do, because that person would do that for you if the roles are reversed.
Absolutely,
So.
And the one thing I would add is, guys, always check your equipment. Before shift, double check. Tourniquet where it needs to be on your belt. Make sure everything's right where it needs to be. Everything's in working order, because you never know what's going to happen that shift.
Right.
So, is there any parting words you have for our friends watching today?
Well, if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. And I hope that you join the FOP if you haven't. And I certainly think that there's a lot of people willing to, talk to you and get it arranged, especially if you work for an organization that is not an FOP affiliated organization at the time. But yeah, I'm just very grateful for everything that everyone has done for me, and thank you for watching the video today.
Yeah, thank you guys. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, and subscribe so that you're up to date on everything going on with the FOP and this channel. You'll get updates on videos as they come out. Please share this video with your friends or anybody else in the law enforcement community that you think needs to see this. As always, we're going to continue to put out quality content like this, keep you guys informed on what's going on in the law enforcement world, especially in Illinois. And as always, be safe out there, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.